Let's start rolling through these 1 o'clock games. Panthers at Falcons. Opened at Falcons -5.5. Now there are 6s on the board. Total opened up at 44. A couple of 44.5s on the board. Falcons defensive back Keanu Neal, done for the season. Panthers Greg Olsen, fractured foot. Season may be over. Matt Ryan looked bad in that Sarkisian offense. Is that Matt Ryan looking bad? Their rushing game being non-existent, or the Eagles' defense being excellent? Julio Jones caught for 169 yards. No one else had over 26. They held the Eagles to just 132 yards passing. Again, is that the Falcons' secondary being great, or is that Foles and the offense banged up? Newton, just 17 for 26, 161 yards, no TDs, no picks. I kind of feel like that's the quarterback you got now in Cam Newton. Panthers at Falcons. Falcons big favorite. What are you thinking about this game, Donnie?
I think it's a pretty good spot for the Falcons. I sent out a couple tweets earlier today. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons just have the Panthers number the past couple of years, 3 straight wins down in the Dome, winners of four of their last 5. And also, when you take a look at this game, Jimmy, you can't forget in the NFL, when you start 0-2, you don't make the playoffs. And I think we all had penciled in the Atlanta Falcons to get to the playoffs. Teams that start 0-2 miss the playoffs at a 90% clip. So, yeah, there's still a 10% clip out there that they can get after. But also, let's not forget, Jimmy, if the Atlanta Falcons drop the game this week, you know who's on deck for them the following week? The New Orleans Saints. You might be staring at 0-3 right off the bat, and that's going to lose jobs, not just say not make the playoffs. Owners don't get around making good, shrewd business decisions when their team's not making the playoffs. Coaches get right on the hot seat. But I think it's a great spot for the Atlanta Falcons to get back here. If you watch the Carolina Panther game, they played exactly the way they should. I think when we broke the game down last week, Jimmy, we said, Cam Newton's probably going to make more plays than Dak Prescott. That's what it's going to come down to. It's hard to win on the road. Factored in, they got up 16-0, made the game 16-8. But back to this Atlanta Falcons game, I just like the way it is. But now, look, you're right, Keanu, that's a huge injury. That's a Pro Bowler in the secondary that's going to be out. And also, Deion Jones is also going to be out now, placed on IR with a foot injury. That's 2 starters down, 2 really good components down. But the one thing that Carolina would have had the advantage with if Olsen was healthy, because Jones is such a good pass defender. I believe, last year, 7 or 8 yards per catch, one of the lowest out there for a defender over the middle, being a linebacker. He's going to be out for this game. But I'm not so sure now, Jimmy, that they can actually effectively get around that with no Olsen. And I just think the Atlanta Falcons are suited for turf. They're built for turf to get after the pass rusher. When you watch the game last week at the Philadelphia Eagles, what happened to them is that the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line on grass got to them on defense and pounded the football, as you see in the game plan in the first half. That's going to change up a bit. They're going to have the dome advantage on their side. It's going to be loud in that environment in a division game. And let's not forget, again, you're 0-1. And the Carolina Panthers did win last week. So if Carolina loses, it's not, oh my God, season-changing stuff. We're supposed to lose on the road to Atlanta. But if you're looking from Atlanta perspective, they absolutely have to win this game. Not must-win territory. We've seen it a lot around the NFL. But just looking at the game overall, Atlanta needs this. This is a really good spot for them. And one last point on this one, Jimmy. It's always nice to have the extra mini-type bye. Let's not forget the Eagles and Falcons played on a Thursday. So they had an extra few days to prepare, rest up, and get ready for this Carolina team.
Yeah, great points. Julio Jones joining us in the chat after catching for 169 yards. He's like in the over. We have a couple guys on the over. Vitalis tells us Sharps are on Atlanta -5.5. George Young has Falcons -5. And then a lot of talk about, JP, my man JP, saying Ryan is a BQB. It'll be that way all year. Teddy B saying Falcons should not be laying 5.5 against anyone, especially a divisional game. Too many points. And then my man here saying, I hope everybody's on Atlanta. Who is saying that? My man T-Day Doug saying, I hope everybody takes Atlanta. Donnie, do you feel like this is too many points?
I don't feel like it's too many points. I forget the exact numbers. I'm just running off the seat right now. But I think the last 4 wins by
-6 across the board right now.
Yeah, no, I know those numbers, but the last 4 wins, the 4 out of 5 wins that Atlanta's had over Carolina, all of them would have covered that spread. I believe it was like 7, 11, 12, and 17 or something like that. So it looks like when the Atlanta Falcons do beat the Panthers, they cover with ease. You're looking for them to win by a touchdown. I think they're the better overall team as it is anyway. I like Cam Newton. He's a really good player. But when you're looking overall, look, Falcons need this game more than the Carolina Panthers do. In the NFL, it's a lot of situational betting. Who needs this game? Whose jobs are on the line? When you're walking around in Flowery Branch down there getting ready for the game, you're walking on pins and needles because you know you have to have this game or there's possibility of having no postseason for your football team.
I guess through breaking this down, God, this is going to be so helpful for my capping. I guess breaking this down, talking about Keanu Neal out, talking about Deion Jones out, I guess, indoors, that 44.5 is starting to look appealing to me on the over. Can you give me any reasons why that shouldn't be looking as appealing as it is after this breakdown?
No, I mean, it's not that. I mean, 44.5 is not a lot for the NFL anymore, Jimmy. I mean, we're talking about like 51 points, and you have to have like a real back and forth. 44 points can be covered in the last 2 to 3 minutes of the game by a stupid interception return like we saw last night in the game, or just a simple team where somebody's down 10 points and gets an easy touchdown at the end. That's not a lot of points. Hell, in that rain game in Baltimore with one of the worst offensive performances you'll ever see out of the Buffalo Bills, that game easily went over. So in today's NFL, especially earlier in the season, you get a lot of penalties. How many times have we seen some of these teams penalized 10, 12 times per game? That's 100 free yards a game that you can tack. And also, you're in a dome. Field goal kickers love domes. 55, 54, 53-yard field goals become chip shots because there's no environment.
Yeah, I agree. That's looking more and more appealing. A lot of guys talking about the Giants-Dallas game. I'm being heavily against Dak Prescott all year last year. I was heavy against him in the beginning of this year. I'm going to be on the Giants this week. Looking forward to the public action coming in on the Cowboys, but we will get to that game soon.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.